residents in Costa Road have expressed concerns over the ongoing operation clearing the roads by the police. The sales of cooking gas have declined in Nigeria thanks to the increase of gas prices. And the Tunisian authorities have initiated plans to widen the coronavirus vaccination program. Well, this and more coming your way in News Desk. Many thanks for joining us. This is Africa TV. I am Amadou Kante, and now the news in detail. Now, the people of Costa Road expressed concern in the manner in which the police is executing the operation to clean the nation. They accuse the police of forcefully exercise of power despite public consensus on the need to get rid of all forms of rubbish in residential and commercial areas. Here is more details of that in this report.
Adama Jallo, a resident near the highway, highlighted the need for a more appropriate way to execute the operation, minus any form of force on the people. His reaction came in observation of certain arrests and legal measures against individuals in the name of the operation.
Trucks normally park here. That's why I put wheels around here. Because sometimes some drivers will drive right towards people who sit beside my compound, and in order to prevent any accident, I put the wheels here. The police said I should remove it immediately, so because I don't want to push and pull with them, I agreed, because it is the government which brought this initiative. But I just wanted them to stop 40 meters away from my lands and stop their operation there. I don't want them going beyond that because my compound is outside that zone.
Modusala, who runs a tire repairing shop, expressed his frustration with the operation and how he, together with his neighbors, has been subjected to arrest and detention.
We remove all our materials that we put in front of our shops because they asked us to. However, the next day they came, they asked who owns the tents beside the shops, and we admitted to own it. That was the time they asked us to climb their vehicles, and we were all arrested, including my wife.
Babakar Sise, a businessman at the Costa Road, explained how the operation has affected his business.
There are things we are grateful for, but there are others that affect us a lot. Like today, they remove our tents that we erected here to find shade from the sun and prevent rain from coming in. When they remove all these, it distorted most of the things we built. If our materials are inside and not outside, customers will be affected, and we will also not be able to make that much sale. Paying for so many things and your materials end up being destroyed is not that good for us.
The Operation Clean the Nation exercise is one of a series conducted by the Gambia security officials to ensure a clean and safe environment. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Hawanjai.
Hawanjai reporting there as people residing in the Costa Road expressing concern about the police operation on the ongoing clearing roads. Now to Nigeria next, where the recent increase of price of gas cylinders in the country have forced many consumers to find other alternatives to continue their activities. The unfavorable situation also triggered a significant decline in the sales of cooking gas in the West African nation, with many families and restaurants owners back to firewood. Some health experts warn of its ramifications. Let's have more details of that in this report.
It's the peak period of sales at this gas plant, but there are no customers. The manager of the gas plant says sales has dropped drastically since the price of gas in the country was suddenly jacked up 3 weeks ago.
Presently, the price of gas is 454 naira per kg. So when you want to buy 12.5 kg now, that's about 5,700 approximately, and that's on the high side because the complaints, the feedback we are getting from customers. It's not something to be happy about. But then what do? I use gas at home too, so I know how it feels. It hurts.
Some customers like petty trader Oluwatosin Akinremi are still managing to put up with the hike in price. But she says she has had to make some drastic adjustments.
I was using 12.5. I couldn't, because I cannot afford the price, so I have to go and buy this half of it, 6 kg. Now 6 kg is 3,000. So the thing is really affecting me, and there's no how you can do it without cooking.
Restaurant owner Yu Ugoya is still using gas for her cooking, but she says she's already planning to switch over to charcoal.
Let me try charcoal for 1 week. If I buy 1 bag of charcoal, then I will now compare it with gas. And I believe charcoal is even better now, not even need of. The gas is going up every day.
Some other local restaurant owners have since abandoned gas for firewood and not making any plans to make a U-turn.
The smoking disturbs me.
This smoke disturbs me a lot. It affects my eyes and my lungs. It also disturbs my neighbor. Sometimes they complain about the smoke, but I usually plead for their patience. I just cannot help it.
Apart from the issues of climate change, medical experts say the use of firewood also poses serious health hazard. And with the increasing price of gas, more people like Abba are likely to turn to firewood.
We do know, for example, that when you incinerate firewood and you burn it and use it as a cooking fuel, you tend to produce over 200 different chemicals. Prominent, of course, is carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide, and a couple of other chemicals. The issues with these chemicals is that they are almost as pungent and as dangerous to health as the usual cigarette smoke we talk about.
Nigeria consumes an estimated 1 million metric tons of cooking gas annually. Even though the country is a major gas producer, it still imports about 65% of what it consumes, as local production of cooking gas is still very low. High cost of foreign exchange as a result of devaluation is mainly responsible for the hike in the price of gas.
And from the report there in Nigeria, we come back home. Premium Time Center for Investigative Journalism, Dubawa, a fact-checking platform for journalists, has wrapped up a 3-day training for 13 Gambian journalists. The training was geared towards preparing journalists to tackle misinformation as well as disinformation on public platforms through investigation and reporting of accurate information. Amin Dao has more details of that in this report.
The rise in citizen journalism in the world is alarming, with disruptive practice in digital journalism through the spreading of misinformation or disinformation for public consumption. This is what Dubawa, a fact-checking and verification platform, aims to counter with the training of journalists in the West African English-speaking countries. In partnership with the Gambia Press Union, the platform enrolled 13 Gambian journalists in response to what is known as fake news and its dissemination. Speaking at the end of the training, the Executive Director of Premium Time Center for Investigative Journalism, Mr. Dapu, underscored the importance of the fact-checking sessions.
This is a very difficult time in the history, not only of the world, but in our own community, where we have a crisis of information. And this crisis expresses itself mostly through a lot of misinformation, and at other times also through disinformation. This has great implication for democracy, great implication for public health, electoral integrity, and just how the integrity of public policy. All these have a way of affecting, the community, citizens, and development so that's why fact-checking is particularly a very useful tool.
The Minister of Information and Communication Infrastructure, Ibrahim Asila, welcomes the initiation and pledged his minister's support to enhance crucial issues relating to elections and public policy.
This can help a lot, and it can bring in a lot of credibility for the media fraternity. And I want to assure you that the government of the Gambia, through the Ministry of Information and Communication Infrastructure, will work with you to see that this component of journalism, which is fact-checking, is strengthened and enhanced to help the people make informed choices and decisions on crucial issues relating to election and public policy.
Keba Jifang, one of the participants, highlighted the importance of the training and how it will be beneficial to him as a journalist.
So us having been trained on this, we will be out there to make some certain correction to certain information that are out there so that people would be rightly informed and then they can take, correct decisions as far as their life and livelihoods are concerned, but also not to, react in certain ways, because sometimes when wrong information have been peddled, it created that, chaotic situation in the society, in the communities. So having us, train and then we come at the right time to dispel this information, this information definitely will avert, situation of conflict or, violence in our communities.
The training came at a time when the country is battling with misinformation as well as disinformation, mainly on online public platforms ahead of the December presidential election. Dubawa, meaning to check in the Hausa language as a fact-checking institution, has trained over 300 journalists in all the West African English-speaking countries within the past 3 years. Amin Dao, 4i Africa News.
Gambian journalists trained on fact-checking in their journalistic work. Elsewhere, as part of efforts to battle against the COVID-19 pandemic, South African authorities are widening their vaccination program by inoculating homeless people in different parts of the country. An estimated 200,000 people are said to be staying on the streets, with many of whom exposed to different ailments, especially the coronavirus pandemic. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine has been used for the vaccination drive. Here's more details of that in this report.
It's estimated that around 200,000 people live on South Africa's streets, a vulnerable community that's been hit extra hard by the COVID-19 pandemic.
The homeless people, it has been a very tough time, especially in the winter. They're very susceptible to flus and colds, and where they may have comorbidities already, TB, for example, or diabetes, many have HIV. These are serious health issues, which then they can be impacted further by something like COVID.
31-year-old Robert Magadui of Mozambique is one of the first 14,000 homeless people in the city of Cape Town to be vaccinated.
I don't have a place to stay. I have to struggle to eat. So the pandemic has made it very difficult for me as far as being homeless is concerned. I'm living on the streets, I'm hungry, and I needed assistance, and here they gave me the vaccine.
The Western Cape government says it will prioritize the use of the single-dose Johnson & Johnson jab in its drive to vaccinate remote, rural and homeless communities.
For homeless, we are using for J&J because it's a one dose. Because with a Pfizer, it means that you have to come back again 42 days. So we have to provide J&J, and I'm glad that now we'll be pushing more to be used, and also in other homeless shelters, because we don't want to bother people to come, because they will forget anyway about their return dates.
Homeless people in South Africa who want to be vaccinated will be able to sign up whether or not they have formal identity documents, and they'll be entered in South Africa's electronic vaccine data system.
So today's been amazing, just to see so many people coming and excited to be able to access the vaccine.
I've been 2 years on the street, and I'm very happy and relieved to get my vaccine.
A sentiment now shared by many homeless people across South Africa's mother city.
South African authorities are intensifying efforts to battle against the COVID-19 pandemic by vaccinating people that are staying on the streets. And from that report there in South Africa, we would now take a break and come back shortly with the remaining of the story. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
The locations, the design, the materials used, all the way down to the latest details, are few of many things that we focused on when we envisioned the airport residency. As proud innovators of community estates, the airport residency in Old Yundum a project by Swami India International, offers unique gated community with 3 and 4 bedroom villas and duplexes. Just 5 minutes away from the Banjul International Airport. Luxury, convenience, and accessibility are some of the reasons you should consider this great housing opportunity. With a clubhouse, a playground, access roads, and parking facilities available for your dream home or a valuable investment, you will find all you need at Airport Residency here in Olyunda.
Welcome back. This is Africa TV, and once again, many thanks for joining us. And now to the rest of the stories. Now, a group called Concerned Youth in Gunjur have complained bitterly about sand mining activities around the Combo South areas. They call on the attention of the stakeholders to review the authority of sand miners to prevent grievous environmental and health complications. Here's more details of that in this report.
Sand mining activities have always been a challenge in the country, with communities and mining companies regularly at conflict. In the same venture, a group known as Concerned Youth in Gunjur has raised the red flag high over what it called damages caused by sand miners in the coastal areas. Abu Bojang, member of the organization, recalled their long-standing struggle on tree planting to protect the ecosystem, but their efforts appear to be undermined by sand mining activities.
We've been struggling for this for so long, over 5-6 years, since we are trying to come up with to protect this road. Yeah, every year, we try to do something. They are planting, tree planting and other stuff, but the sand miners, when we leave, they will come, and damage everything, and start to, tightening the road, because the dimension of the road is there. Yeah, we've made that agreement with them way back, many years ago. This is not today, since time of Yahya Jammeh. Yeah, we've made agreement with them, but every year, the size of the road is going. That is, the dimension of the road will be maintained, and it will not be, mined by anybody. But this is just a word to them. Every time they are mining the road, every time they are mining the road.
As he explained, the road leading to the beach has been totally damaged, increasing the chances of river erosion to environmental disaster.
So that's the main road we are standing. So if you can see, it's like, it's going zigzag. Yeah. So if there is nobody there, to protect the road, yeah, miners will just do whatever they like to do, and they don't have limit of, how much deeper they should mine. They just mine like, well, if you check it out, you see water. They mine till water come out. Yeah, they mine to their own extent. Yeah, this is the point.
Aside from the ongoing mining activities in the coastal area of Gunjur, the youth called on the government to consider relocating the Bakote dump site to refill their areas dug by miners. Press Secretary for Concerned Youth, Fabai Jane, noted that the area on which the mining activities are taking place could have been put into a better use and in public interest.
So we want to, call on, all stakeholders that can, support, this group in order to, target that, dumping. And if, we bring that, waste here, how many estates, would be, used, in that position? If the government, can put a support to that, because the land scene, that these people are operating, was been given by the government, Unity Mining, company. So land scene for destruction, if that is given, also, equally, land scene for, development, should also be in support.
Sand mining is a growing business worldwide, filling a critical need in construction projects ranging from roads to high rises. but it is also blamed for a wide range of environmental issues such as coastal erosion and degradation of river systems. According to the association, it is out to tackle problems including sand mining, traffic and safety through active monitoring of activities along the coastal area. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Mariama Chang.
Mariama Chang reporting there as youth in Gunjur expressed concern on the ongoing, of course, sand mining in their area. Finally, now, in a bid to fast-track its vaccination campaign, Tunisia's president has encouraged all Tunisian nationals to participate in an open-day inoculation exercise across the country. Health authorities have outlined measures to enable everyone vaccinated during the stipulated time frame. The North African nation has received millions of coronavirus doses to help inoculate its people. Let's have more details of that in this report.
President Kais Saied has called on Tunisians to flock to vaccination centers during the open day. The head of state noted that 6 million doses of coronavirus vaccine have been donated in 15 days. Saied added that 6 million more will be supplied in the next few weeks.
I call on Tunisians throughout the country to get vaccinated during the open day and not to hesitate. Large quantities of vaccine and medical equipment are currently available. The obstacles have been removed and normal life will resume its course in Tunisia after these open days of vaccination.
According to the Health Department and the COVID-19 Task Force, 1.5 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines were made available for the walk-in vaccinations. These quantities were distributed to the 333 vaccination centers in the 24 governorates.
Even those who have not registered for vaccination can get their first jab in any vaccination center. Medics, paramedics, public health officials, and civil society volunteers are facilitating this operation and making it as smooth as possible. The vaccines are available. Together, we can make this open day successful.
This is the main vaccination center at Al Manzah Olympic Stadium in the capital city, Tunis. Many civilian medics and paramedics, as well as volunteers, have been mobilized, administering more than 4,000 COVID-19 vaccines in 12 hours. As tens of thousands of people turned up, several vaccination centers reached capacity shortly after opening.
It's very important to get vaccinated. It's an opportunity. It's much easier than waiting for an appointment. The turnout is exceptional as people flocked to the vaccination centers very early in the morning. I'm happy and I hope this open day will help in limiting the number of infections and deaths.
The Defense Ministry mobilized 666 medics and paramedics in 333 walk-in vaccination centers. A new COVID-19 pandemic operations room, headed by the Director General of Military Health, is in charge of coordination between government ministries.
The battle against the COVID-19 pandemic continues in, of course, different parts of the world as Tunisia initiated new measures to fast-track its vaccination program to save lives in the country. And from the report there from the West Africa, of course, North African nation, we finally bring this news edition to an end. But for more details on this and other stories, as always, as ever, you can visit on our website on africa.tv. There will be more news again at 17:30 GMT, that's 5:30 local time. You can join us then if you can. But for now, many thanks for the privilege of your company. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and bye for now.
Welcome to Staples, the office superstore for all your office needs, office furnitures,